Hi everyone. I got onto Yachtworld and I've been hoping to find a sailboat for myself within the next couple of years. I put in parameters and I did a search and I found 24 boats. Under the year column, I think the oldest one was 1996, maybe 95. I've got a 45 on here, so I didn't do a maximum length, but I think I did a minimum length of 29. I only did certain manufacturers. So here, H is Hansa, E is a top, D is Dufour, J is Jano. So I got the age just by subtracting the year from 2024. And I took the length, I divided it by the age. So length is a desirable characteristic, so the higher the length, the greater the price. And of course, age is an undesirable characteristic in a yacht. It's length divided by age, and then I get this value. I plotted this value, so the higher the value, the greater the desirability of the boat. And I plotted it against price, and here is what I came up with. More desirable yachts are this way. Pricier yachts are this way. Fewer years and greater feet, I'm going to go this way to the right. If I want to pay less for it, of course, I'm going to go down. So the boats that I want will be down and to the right. Just a diagonal line across these intersections to determine which ones were the most desirable boats. So these would be the three most desirable boats. Then I don't want anything unless it's down here. And what I've noticed is that, generally orientation is vertical and horizontal. And in this chart, the orientation is diagonal. These would be the best boats for the money. And what I'm seeing is that if I'm orienting myself up and to the left, I'm seeing less desirable yacht. Right? So this would be, by that measure, it would be the least desirable. However, that's the Island Packet, right? So Island Packet has a premium, and this is the Moody. So these, in my mind, are the two brands of boat that are the most desirable on this dot plot, just based on brand. And you can see that that is borne out, price per feet over years of age. Viewing these boats, all other things being equal, except for age, length, and price, then this one, and this one would be the most desirable. I think these two being the most desirable. Now, what I noticed is that if I'm going down and to the right for value, what I'm seeing here is this gap. I see a gap here, and I see a gap here. Now, these two might be outliers, and so these are clearly not outliers. This is the field of data. And what I'm noticing is that there are no dots in this area. So this would indicate to me that it is a seller's market. That as soon as a desirable boat appears on Yachtworld, it's snapped up by a buyer. Also, if a boat once was up here in price and it comes down, it is snapped up very quickly. One of the 3 short boats on here, this is a 29, so these are 29s, and their hand says, if it's just going to be me, and I'm going to be putting the boat on the hard for 6 months every winter, then I want the shortest boat possible so that I'm paying the least amount in storage fees. That's a little bit about me, right? So here, the Island Packet and the Moody, that's a little bit about me. These are names that I value. A boat that is short enough to be stored cheaply, but long enough for me to live on comfortably by myself with the occasional visitor, that too is a valuable trait in a boat. For instance, let's take a look at this one. It says 136.36. It's for 300,052. So let's find it over here. 300,052. You can see it's a handset. It's 30 feet long. It was made in 2002. So here I'm getting a, let's see. That's a Jano 32, right? So that seems to be pretty good value for the money, maybe the best. It's certainly, these two cross the imaginary diagonal line here in terms of value. But what I wanted to know is, why is there nothing here? Why is there nothing here? So I decided, why don't I try just on Janos? So here we are just with Janos. And I say Jano. I don't care if you say Jeannot. I speak French. I can say Jano if I want to. Here you can see I went with a different length range. Why? Because I wanted to take out things like the sun fast, and I wanted to take as many Jano has a couple of unusual lines, less common lines. And I wanted just to go with the Sun Odysseys if I could. A few others slipped in. I let them in. I don't care. Year 2004 to something like 2013 or something. Here's the length range. And what I did is I decided to clean up the data. So anything that said tax included, I left the price as it was. Anything that was in the US, Canada, or the West Indies, I just added 6% for tax, right? And anything where it says tax not included, which assumes it's in Europe, right? I added 15% VAT. So these are the prices after tax that I came up with. Again, here are the ages. Here's the length divided by age, right? And here is my estimation of the price after tax. And then I did a plot, and look at how very, very, very tight this data is. And notice that the same effect is there. Down and to the right is desirable, and what we have is a dearth, a lack of boats down here. And if we go back to the previous data, you can see where there was a branch with a couple outliers, and then this hole in the data. And then here it is with the main body of dots representing, boat length, age, and price. It seems to be like it's missing data. Well, when I do it here, I really show this very tightly. So narrowing data to just one manufacturer and trying to doing my best. I don't know how much tax rates are. Big deal. I did my best simulation of the tax rates that I could do in my mind in this afternoon. What I wound up with was an extreme tightening of the data, and that, in my mind, would tend to corroborate my theory about boats that are down and to the right are being snapped up. If they appear on Yachtworld, they disappear from the data immediately. If they start up here and they come down in price, as soon as they come down far enough, they're snapped up. And so there are these two gaps where the most desirable boats ought to be appearing, and they're not there. And if I go diagonally here, again, there's nothing that meets this line of value. There's one boat that meets this line of value. And here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boats that meet the third ranking of value for the money. What I thought was very interesting is I did this sort in Yachtworld so that I could see the oldest listings first. Right? So this one has been listed for the longest amount of time, the second longest, third longest, right? So there's the longest, and there's the newest. And what I found is there doesn't seem to be too much of a correlation between value on these diagonal lines and the length of the listing, length of time the listing has been posted. And I think that the reason for that is that sometimes things are just posted to sell right away, and other times the broker posts them with a very high price and works their way down. So I didn't see any real correlation between the length of time that the boat was posted and the undesirability of it, or the compared to the price. So that's what makes me think that sometimes they're getting posted to sell and people are snapping them up right away, and sometimes they're being posted with a high price and then they're being worked down until somebody snaps them up. These brands, Dufour, Jeannot, Hansa, these are all attractive brands to me. And so just because I say Island Packet or Moody, whatever, I mean, they wouldn't be on the dot plot if I didn't want them. So, and I have very specific needs for myself, which are different from the needs or the criteria that I used in this search. This was just to kind of try and see if my hunch was right. And in my mind, I think I was right. So let me know what you think. See ya.